Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, we've got a little special one for you. I managed to get Mr. Dench to agree to help me test some of the kit that I'm trying to find out if it'll be good for using for the podcast. If I'm honest, I'm not sure how this one's gone, but I said if it was usable, I'd upload it, and hopefully it is usable. Not sure on the sound, but I've got my fingers crossed on this one. So let's see together, shall we? There is a video. It's doing the old social distancing video thing. So if you're not checking us out on YouTube, please do, and please subscribe while you're there. So here we go. This is CookieCast. Check in with Edward. Some of that. Are we? Oh no, we're moving. Oh, actually, yeah, that could be a size issue because that's not moving at the same speed as it would have done previously. I don't know if it's a processing thing as well. It seems to be going big and small. Who knows? Edward Dench, how the devil are you, sir?
I'm now hopefully in HD, so better. Yeah,
Better in HD.
I'm hairier than ever. I mean, the length of this is getting a bit silly, even by my reckoning. There you go. And I'm sporting the Robin Hood Men in Tights look, you know. And unlike other Robin Hoods, I can speak in a British accent. So yes, we're surviving. How about yourself?
When in doubt, get an Australian to do the job. Is that what you mean?
Well, was that or Princess Bride? I figured I'd rather be Men in Tights. Read into that as much as you will.
Yeah.
I could rather be in Men in Tights.
Yeah. I am as expected at this point in time. I don't even know. Do we consider ourselves to be in lockdown anymore?
Well, it's because I come back to the office, so I really like that. It makes my day better. But outside, it still feels a bit absent. Except when I walked home and the traffic down Bootham was like all the way down Bootham. I was like, this feels normal. This feels exactly like it used to.
Yeah, the traffic is very much creeping back.
Yeah, I don't think any amount of lockdown plan they have, I don't think it's going to make it to the 4th of July for the pubs opening. I think the entirety of lockdown will have been abandoned as a poor shit show well before that because people have just given up giving a shit. Too many assholes in Parliament have ignored it, and there's been no fucking consequence. And then you've also got a shitload of protesters all huddled together, and oddly enough, we haven't had a spike of infection. Maybe contact isn't the victim. You know, so I think the world has sort of seen too many things now to go, you know what, you're talking good sense. Yeah.
There's a lot of weirdness going on.
Yeah, the world's gone fucking batshit crazy.
Bat being the operative word.
You not got any desire to come rushing back to the office then? Do you, as daft as it sounds, do you enjoy the working from home other than the convenience of being at home and not having to travel?
I've always estimated I'm between 10 and 100% more productive at home than I am in the office.
Well, I would agree with that, but that's why I need to leave this house and can go to an office. Because I needed a break from the machine. Unfortunately, when I'm at home, it was there, so it was on, and I was on it. And if I took a break, I'd turn to my other machine, but then it would ping, so I'd turn back to it. And I couldn't separate from it.
Yeah,
the only time I managed to disconnect was when I was mowing the lawn.
It's that thing, isn't it? You know, everybody's different, and everybody out there is either going to be a person who is happy at home, can work at home, a person who would prefer to be in the office, or someone who is somewhere in between. I know if we were given the choice, let's say tomorrow they were like, right, you've got a choice. I imagine 33% of people would return to the office, 33% of people would choose to stay at home, and 33% of people would decide to alternate, do a couple of days in the office, a couple of days at home, half and half, that sort of thing. That's people for you.
Yeah. I'm baffled that more people don't want to go back to the office just for that sense of familiarity. You know, that's just the routine of it. I know it's you go in, you sit down, you do your job, you go home, but you've also got a certain amount of social involved with it. You've got a routine of getting up, getting out of the house. You get your steps in for walking if that's what you give a shit about. And right now, you get loads of them in because you're not allowed in the bloody lift, so you have to go up the stairs and down the stairs and up the stairs and down the stairs and all the way around the building to get back to your desk because your desk has been positioned literally on the right-hand turn of a one-way system where you can't turn right.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I've got a wonderful system of walking around the office. I time it just right. I put coffee into my cup. I put it at the ends of the desks. So when I have to come back in from my phone, I walk past it, scoop the mug up, go around through the canteen, fill up the coffee, and then get back to the desk. And if I'm real lucky, I might need a piss as well. And I can...
three birds with one stone.
Oh, God, yes. It's a simple joy, but yeah. It's nice to be back. I've seen Ben Halls. He's opted to come back in. He's doing very well. Obviously, Rich Ticehurst has come back for us, so he's quite happy to have been back in the office. You can bleep all the names out, by the way. But yeah, it's nice. I really recommend anybody and everybody at least try to come back one day a week as soon as they can, just to get themselves back to that familiarity.
It's one of those. It's like for the fact that we have two offices, they're both as difficult to get to for me as it is. The difference between our Monk's Cross office compared to our town office is when I've got a parking space, I can drive to the door, but it's still a 10-minute drive if you're lucky. And you know, the fact that I can, for want of a better way of putting it, roll out of bed and log on from home, it does make a difference. You know, I'm saving time either side of the day, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, because you're not particularly phone-driven work and things, going forward from this, it might be really useful if you and Leanne could choose to work from home and just come into the office one day a week. Leanne could mind in the morning, you could mind quick evenings, and you can split your day between you both, sort of keeping an eye and keeping it entertained, letting it sleep, it's sleeping, right? About type of fucking work. And I reckon that's got some real potential for those that we can keep an eye and make sure they're doing the job. I think once lockdown lifts, people will be less inclined to be as productive, if I'm honest. Just because, you know, oh, the shop's open, I'll just pop out. Oh, it's my neighbour, so just stick their head in. Daft little things like that. But we'll see. But I do look forward to seeing what the world's like after this, because if nothing else, it's proven that, one, people can live without drinking. People can live without the pub.
People can live without the pub. They can't live without drinking.
True. Even I took up drinking, but I haven't actually had a drink in ages. I've had no reason. I've not had any of these chats with people lately of any sort. So I haven't.
I've noticed a distinct drop off in the group chats.
Yeah, it bothers me a little actually.
The paranoid side of me was like, maybe they're still going on. You're just not invited.
I wish I had that level of paranoia because I'm fucking fantastic, so it's okay. No, I'm sure people are still having them. It's just getting them organised is a pain in the ass, as you know. You're limited with the Zoom chats by 40 minutes unless you want to pay. If you ask me, a rather silly amount of money every month. just to have
What is the amount of money? I don't know what it was.
like 15 quid. The
No.
pro, so that if one person pays it, they can invite people into as many as they want, which is very good. But for 15 quid a month, I'd want it to bring people to me. You know, I 15 quid a month's a lot of money for something just to see other people's faces.
And there are other options. I'm sure I need to test it better, but I'm sure Skype would be a better
Google.
option. I know a lot of people are saying Google.
I can't remember. It's not Hangouts anymore. It's something else similar. They changed it. It used to be Google Hangouts did a video thing, but we tried it the other week. It is Meet, Google Meet.
All right.
And it works, actually. It worked fine. Did a very good job. All right, it was only about 4 of us on that chat, but it worked. It was less faff than getting all of this meeting code stuff because you just have people as groups on there and you can call them. So it works a bit more like a WhatsApp thing, I think, if I remember rightly.
Right.
I might be wrong. I'd have to play with it again. I've only used it once. But it worked. Oh. Yeah, new meeting code. Yeah, it works just like thingy. Oh, wait, I'm over there. But yeah, you've just got an option at the bottom for a new meeting code or a provide one. So it's basically Zoom. It's just Google, which means it's free and works.
I might have to actually give that one a whirl then, if it's especially if there's no restrictions.
I don't think there is, but again, we can test it out one night.
Yeah, I did a podcast a little while ago, and Zoom was very quiet. So it went over 40 minutes, and Zoom was like, "I'm not saying anything, not saying a word." But then I did one the week before that, and the podcast was an hour and a half, and I had to restart the Zoom meeting 3 times. So it was like, it's just a pain. So if there's an alternative, that's certainly worth looking into. But like I say, the last couple of times I've used Zoom, it's been very, it's kept itself nice and quiet. So
I think Zoom works very well. I just don't think it's worth 15 quid a month. You know, and I can't remember how long you get. When it's just 2 of you, I think you've got unlimited time. If it's 3 or more, you're limited to.
That might be it then.
Yeah. If there's only 2 of you, they don't care. But if you're doing groups of 3 and more, that's when the limit of 40-minute comes in.
That would make sense.
I was wondering whether or not you could drop someone out, refresh
them back in.
I don't know, again, how you can reset it, whether it keeps a track of the time for X number of people.
A roulette wheel behind you and you spin it, you know, whichever name it lands on, they have to drop out. Make it a game.
That could work.
So, I saw something today and I was like, oh man, I've got to check in with Ed and see what his opinion on the new Crash Bandicoot announcement.
I'm very upset. I am. I'm really upset because of everything I've seen about it. Bottom of the screen. Yeah, Activision, PlayStation, Xbox. No Steam. No PC.
No.
Oh, I'm going to have to buy a fucking PlayStation 5.
No, because basically they're trying to get the very last of the pennies out of the PS4. Like, oh, just those little pennies. Come on, give me the pennies.
The rumor they've put forward, obviously, and they've tried it before and it failed miserably, hence they recalled them all, but it's the backward compatibility. The PlayStation 5 will be backward compatible with all old games, apparently.
Apparently so.
Which, obviously, if you've got a disc drive and you've got a PlayStation disc, that'd be great, but I'm guessing it doesn't mean like that. I'm guessing it means that they're porting all of the popular ones onto digital platforms so you can buy them again. That's just my dark. But I really like the idea of it because I'd really like to replay the original 3 God of Wars on a proper system that doesn't bug out and lose textures or do something weird with the face because the ROM I'm running is a bit dicky. But yeah, the first three of those were great games, and I would really like to play the new one, which again, PC I can't. I would really like to play the Zero Horizons,
Mm.
and that's got a sequel coming out.
It does. It looks very similar to the
I was
to
going to
the
say, it
first.
looks kind of like it's exactly the same, so I figured I'd just play the new one.
Yeah,
I hope there's not too much complex storyline to follow.
super samey.
Yeah, I've seen a few bits and bobs for what's coming out. I think the only thing that got me excited was that the Unreal 5 demo. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah, and then I saw that somebody recreated it in Dreams.
I
They
did
ran them
not see
along.
that. I
They,
might
they
have to
ra-
go have a look.
they ran the two alongside each other, and they were very close.
Fucking hell. That's impressive.
Yeah,
The concept behind the Unreal Engine is it's been brilliant for years. The Unreal Engine has worked like a charm for loads of developments. It's a wonderful, wonderful engine. But the number five and what its potential to bring to consoles is probably god awful overhype. But if it's even slightly true,
yeah.
it's got some great, great potential. So I'm very, very interested to see what the PS5 act ends up looking like as an act for games and play and everything else, and all the other things that are going to try and force on you, like Connect movements and VR. Oh, Squadron.
Mm,
Oh, Squadron.
mm,
Need I say more?
yeah.
I mean, I remember playing Rogue Squadron on PC with a joystick, and it was so good. Having to fly around the legs of an AT walker, things to
Yeah.
tie it so it'd fall, and you felt great. But imagine that in this.
Mm.
And
In
then,
VR.
if they can do it in VR,
Allegedly, the whole game is playable in VR. And apparently, if you have a version of Oculus and you've got the new console, somehow you're going to be able to link the two together, play the game in VR.
well, I can't see why you couldn't. But that's purely because the actual Oculus, it's an HDMI and a USB. The computer drives the software, which means PlayStation just need to put the effort in to make something that can register its an Oculus. Here, play this thing.
Yeah.
Theoretically, there's no reason you can't. It's why there's so many third-party VR headsets out there. I mean, there's an 8K VR headset somewhere in the world. Ridiculous resolution. It's fucking expensive. I don't know how well it works. I don't know how you get it up and running. It doesn't have its own app store, which means everything you buy would have to be third-partied and configured. I'm guessing, but they exist for this reason. They are cross-platform. The only reason Oculus and HTCs work so well is because they put the effort into that front-end engine.
Yeah.
So when you're in the Oculus, you go to your home.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Vive, I believe you get something very similar, if not identical, where you can put things and place things and earn little things for your room based on the games you're playing. I quite like all that shit, if I'm honest. I put my Oculus back in here.
All right.
Just so I can play sitting down. There's not much I can stand up in this room for, but I've thoroughly enjoyed just sitting and building the little rooms and things to sit in. And yeah, this is comfy. I feel like I'm in a big empty space, and I lift off like, oh fuck, reality sucks. Back into the log cabin. My log cabin. Oh, look at that with a space scene outside. Log cabins are weird. It's just enjoyable. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
I've had stuff in the past. I've had both versions of the Kinect, which I've definitely got loads of use out of. I mean, the one that came with the Xbox One, I have used one time and one time only. And that was the first day. Because the one of the selling points for the Xbox One, if you remember, was it came with a digital copy of whichever year it was. It might have been, I can't remember, whichever year it was, version of FIFA, which at that time was brand new. It came with a digital copy, and it said if you hold a QR code up to the Kinect, it would read the QR code, it would install the game, which I did. I went, and it was like, oh, I can see that. I'll install the game. And I was like, oh, that's super impressive. And I have never used it since.
Yeah, but that was the beauty of it. I give Xbox a lot of credit for it personally. It was very bold to put so much fucking onus on the Kinect and say, look, you have to use it. But it gives you voice control, it gives you this, you can do that with it, it does all this, and it's wonderful for that. You have to use it. Trust me, it's great. Just to end up going, you know what? We didn't do a good job of this. You don't have to use it.
Mm.
I give them a lot of props. I mean, it's no different than the Wii saying you have to use motion controllers. The only difference is the Wii did it right.
Yeah.
Whereas Kinect's motion system, it's too big. It's kind of it's like VR. It's got that problem that when you can't spatially aware yourself because this is in your face, your space really needs to be big. I can just about manage it in my sitting room, as you well know. We can just about do it. But it's if you move too much to the left or right, you're going to hit something or someone. VR's the same problem, and the Kinect is exactly the same because it needs full body motion. Every inch of you. Your penis had better be dangling in the middle as well because it wants to track that. Yeah, it just doesn't work. I think it was a good plan, and the motion detection the depth sensing to track your body in 3 dimensions, stunning. Just pity they failed. They should have given it to Nintendo.
If you go back to the level of technology that they put into it and the level that it was at, it was really good kit. It was really good technology. They just
great camera kit.
No usage for it. They had nothing to do with it. It was like, we built this piece of kit, but we've got nothing to use it with. It's like,
because it's not open source enough.
Oh.
It's too difficult to make things for it, so developers won't focus on it because it's just not worth it. They'll focus on what they know works. And again, it's one of the things that made the Wii so successful and also so fucking bitty. Was it was much more open source. It was much easier to develop for, which meant every company could make a game for that with ease. Hence the amount of shit that turned up for the Wii. But those good games that it had were fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And if the Kinect had done similar, it might have been better. The problem is, as I say, they just didn't bother. I was very worried the VR market would do the same. PlayStation VR seems to have managed to hold its own rather well, actually. And it's not even that the games have been that impressive. It's just the fun things because they got them so right. Beat Saber. I mean, I can't think of anything more simplistically fun.
Yeah, I mean, Beat Saber sells machines. You know, I am aware people bought things like the Oculus and the PSVR purely for Beat Saber and have then gone on to play other things. But like people like myself, and I'm sure you, Beat Saber is a game that you still come back to. It's probably one of the first things you played in VR, and it's probably one of the more recent things you've played.
I think it was one of the things that convinced me it was worth giving into. That and Robo Recall that came with the headset. And again, they're just simple fun.
Playing Robo Recall at yours that time, I was like, this is the next level of gaming. This is where gaming should be.
Yeah.
And then when playing Vader Immortal, the first Vader Immortal on the actual Quest, and I was just like, this is it. This is gaming, and that was it for me. I was sold.
Have you played 2 and 3?
Yeah.
See, I've not played the 3rd. I gave into number 2, I think, and that's quite good. I enjoyed it when I could finally start throwing my lights there. I was like, it's great.
2 was good for the dojo. The dojo made that game worth every penny.
VR experience has to have something like that. Otherwise, there's no point, because an experience is one thing, but it's kind of like reading a book right after reading that book. Very few books are worth reading instantly after reading it. You need something where you're more involved. And the dojo is exactly what that was. The second one really pushed it with the force pulling and pushing things out.
The dojo on the second game was worth it. It was worth it just for that. If they'd have said there was no single player, but we'll give you this dojo, which is better in X number of ways, that would have been worth it on its own. Which is where it fell down by the third one. The third one, the single player, the campaign side of it was particularly poor. And the dojo, where they'd going from the first dojo to the second, it was a vast improvement in every way, and it's exactly what you wanted from it. Going from the second to the third, they were like, oh, we're going to put stormtroopers in, and we're going to put, you can shoot guns and you can shoot the blasters and stuff, which initially you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, I'll have a go shooting the blasters. And then 2 minutes later, you're like,
where's my lightsaber?
I want the lightsaber. Yeah, I think it allowed you to have 2 lightsabers, so you could throw them in each hand and stuff, things like that. But I found myself I found I was getting more bored on the third one than I ever did with the second one. It was like it's gone a step too far.
I may give in to the third one a different day, but for now, as I say, my Oculus hasn't had anything new on it in a long while. It's just got bits to poke and prod at, and it's just because I'm enjoying a distraction. I quite like them to take the control and make a VR control experience. They just put you in a room with the bad guys coming at you, and then obviously you've got your force thing, so you can aim certain directions to force grab the floor or lift a brick over and throw it. And then obviously you can spin the gun out, and I think they wouldn't have to make the whole game VR, make you feel really ill, especially that home thing around. But to make the actual, just a first-person viewed shooting range type thing with controllers as a basis would be really good, and it would look amazing. I
keep saying to people, one of the more entertaining ones. I don't suffer with motion sickness playing VR. I'm not one of those people that suffers with the motion sickness playing it, and my tolerance is quite high for it. However, Sorrento VR has a move in it.
Is it the bit where you go underneath people's legs?
It's a backflip. Go up in the air, you flip over backwards, and then you come down, usually looking at the floor. Even I, every time I do it, my stomach goes whoop, and it's like, oh. And it's a lot of fun, but a little sickening. I imagine Sam would just pass out attempting that. What are you watching at the moment?
Very little, actually. I'm not really watching anything. I'm not trying for a series. I've been trying not to do too much there. I don't know. I can't think of it. Everything that's out doesn't really motivate me. So Kaylee and I are watching Big Bang again, just as background crap, because it's funny. It's idle. But I've just not watched anything new at all. I mean, I've been hearing about this 90-Day Fiancé thing. And it does sound like Catfish gone right, but I don't want to watch it is the problem. It sounds like I'd have a fucking field day watching that weirdo.
Is that what they were talking about in the team meeting last week?
Yeah. It's basically people who have met online and have an online relationship, but they're legitimate relationships. They're not pretend people or scam artists. These are actual people in actual relationships who've never physically met each other. So the company arranges to bring the foreign party over and then gives them 90 days to decide if they're going to get married.
Okay.
I know, goodbye, Surface.
Damn it.
That was your tribute to Trainspotting.
Well, yeah. Okay, so how much damage have we done there? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, well, that's a start.
I can't imagine you've done that much damage to it.
I'm just wondering if things are still, because things have moved on the screen. Ah,
Gordon, are we still live?
everything seems to be going. So yeah, let's say we are. Um,
I
yeah, I
do
mean,
keep,
surprisingly for the machine that it is quite big when you've got it spaced out. So,
hmm,
there we go.
I
That's
do
the.
keep meaning to watch. Going back to that one, American Gods. I get,
So
I get the feeling I'll enjoy it. I
I
just,
think you might enjoy it. What I'll say to you is it's super weird,
yeah, that works. I mean,
but
I've
not
watched.
necessarily in a bad way. I watched now then. I think I watched the first series and then I bought the book, and the book is like that. I read the book. I had it like downstairs in the kitchen. And I'd sort of like read it whilst I was like cooking and doing things like that. And I read the book, and then like the second series came along and stuff like that. It's it's weird, but not necessarily in a bad way. Um, it's definitely worth a watch. It's
Hmm,
definitely very watchable.
hmm.
Um, it started like series two has definitely started to drift from the book. And there are bits in the book that I'm like, I do wonder how they're going to be able to do those sections.
Hmm.
Um, but you know, I'm interested to see how it goes from where it is. Um,
I think it's kind of like the Game of Thrones thing. It had big concept, and if it hadn't been popular, it would have looked terrible. But because it was popular, it got the budget. So if American Gods can source the money, they'll make a good show of it. But
yeah, they've had a series of production issues. Um, I'm pretty sure that
it is the thing that weirds me out because I really enjoyed Lucifer. I really liked Lucifer,
they've
and
announced
the world
they've
really seemed.
announced today that that's got another series.
Yeah, they're bringing out season 5, but they're replacing. I can't think of his fucking name. Um, the guy who played Lucifer. And I'll be honest, I think once he's gone, it won't be as good because I think he was the appeal. He was a really good character. He played his part really well. He's kind of like a wonderful Dale Winton esque sort of Lucifer. It's really good.
They're
Um,
replacing him.
yeah, apparently so. They were replacing him with someone from Vampire Diaries, I think it was. Is it? It's not Tom Holland. That's Spider Man, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh bollocks! What's his name? I'm googling. It's okay. It is Tom Ellis and Lucifer replace. They're replacing it. Rumors claiming that Lucifer star Tom Ellis will be replaced by Vampire Diaries star Ian Summerland. No, Summerhalder.
Oh yeah.
I, and I'll be honest, if Tom Ellis is gone from it, I've lost the interest. He was my favourite thing about it. That and the opening song. I love the theme song of that program. I've got it on my phone. Fucking
That seems
brilliant.
like a super weird concept.
I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, he came up from hell into a body. So he's gone back to hell at the end of the last season. Won't say why. Won't spoil that part. So obviously, depending on the state of the body, if he's coming back, he has to come back into a different one. Conceptually, I can make that work. I just don't think I'll like it as much as with Tom Ellis. It's the
Okay.
same as, the mother doesn't turn up as some almighty godlike being, turns up in a body. It's got to go somewhere. So I'm guessing he'll just reappear and that'll be the body he gets. I'm guessing. See, vague rationalizing. Um, but yeah, I'll watch that when it comes out, just because I really liked the Lucifer thing. I like that sort of fantasy crap. Um, there's a superhero one as well, I think, called, is it Bad Boys? No. The Badlands?
The Boys.
The Boys.
That
Again,
is
one
except.
I'm told. Good.
Yeah, that is That was my TV show of 2019. It's really good. Like it's got Carl Urban in. He's very good in it. It's superheroing for adults. It's all like sexual harassment and people exploding and stuff like that. It's proper like it's not like the superheroes we remember as children.
Not X-Men. It's definitely not X-Men. Although on that,
I've stuck some C4 inside you, and you're gonna die that way. Sort of superheroing. It's a
bit more Watchmen, darker.
Yeah, it's very. It probably takes a lot from Watchmen in a lot of ways, but hands down, my series of last year, that was an exceptional watch. So yeah, I'd heartily recommend that one.
What is the new X-Men film called? That's had some serious production issues.
Mutant.
That's on New Mutants. I'm really looking forward to that.
Are they on to their 6th release date now?
I don't know. I think they're one behind that of Cyberpunk.
I saw a timeline for the release dates of that film. I think it's been like 3 years that the timeline for the release dates has spanned, and it still hasn't got a firm release.
I can't quite understand why. I mean, they're obviously in a position where they were happy they might be able to release it. Are they redoing the graphics over? Are they adding new scenes? Are they deciding this is too childish? Are this too adult? Have they finally figured out that girl with the eyebrows is not worth hiring and they've just recast her and reshot the whole film?
Again, it is supposed to be a more adult version of superheroes. It's supposed to be a dark.
Oh, yeah, it looked like X-Men meets horror. The original trailer I saw 3 years ago, apparently, which actually I can believe. It's kind of like the Cyberpunk thing. I remember seeing the initial concept trailer for that with the girl in the corset on her knees being shot at and the bullet shattering off her cheek and things. And it was a stunning bit of footage. It was just beautiful. I thought, I don't know what that is, but I want to play that. And I've been waiting. I won't pre-order it because the first time they offset it and then they did it again. And then they said, the pre-order's out. And I thought, that's not going to happen. That's going to be offset again. And they took a load of them. I know Mr. Keep bought it. He's got the pre-order. And then it was offset till actually about now.
Yeah.
And now it's been offset again.
Yeah, then they put it back to September. And now they've put it back to November.
I know.
And really, they should just say, we're just waiting for the new console and be done with it. Because that's all it is. All they're doing is they're just trying to put it further and further back to get closer and closer to the new console release. So why don't they just say that? Just say that's what they're doing and be done with it.
I'll be honest, I can't quite understand why they haven't just done what GTA 5 did. Let's release it. Give it to PS4. They've waited long enough. There you go. Great. PlayStation 5 comes out. Cyberpunk. HD.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. People will buy it. That's twice the sales. Well, half of the half. But yeah, because that's what GTA 5 did. After releasing on PlayStation 3, the PS4 kicked off and they re-released it for the 4.
And they're re-releasing it for the 5.
Yes, I know. It's going to be the new Skyrim. You'll have Grand Theft Auto 5 on everything.
By now it must, to steal one from Sam, by now it must run on a potato. Because it's gone, it'll be 3 generations deep, that game.
Skyrim. It was the Amazon did a headline piece to do with the device that will not be named lest she attack me. Just there, she's just there, always listening.
Always listening.
But when they were doing the announcement of that, they did a piss take where they just went, and now for your Skyrim, as a joke, because every console and every platform of every possibility has done it. And it was received so excitedly. There is actually a version of it for your and it's a tell your own adventure setup. So you talk to it and you talk your way through this scenario. Apparently,
You still have the guy that says he used to be an adventurer, but until he got shot in the knee with an arrow.
well, I took an arrow to the knee. Oh, I just love that they managed. I know it was a really good game when it came out, but unfortunately, the facial effects and the talking is so dated now. It's kind of like trying to play Fallout 3.
It hasn't stood the test of time, that's for sure.
And the problem is, Fallout 3 was a really good game. I loved Fallout 3. I think it was better than New Vegas. Part of me thinks it was better than 4. 4 just looked better.
Yeah.
I'd quite like them to just rehash Fallout 3.
Fallout's lost on me as a concept.
Is that since 76 really let it down, or but since number 4 wasn't quite as great as you'd hoped?
Yeah, when I played 4 and realised it was 3, I was like, it's the same game.
Yes, but to be fair, so was New Vegas.
And I hated New Vegas. That game was that broken, it nearly broke my console. I played it for a ridiculous number of hours, and then I got one of the game-ending bugs round the is it the Washington Monument when you go around the lake. If you go a certain way round the lake, it crashes and saves at the same time, corrupting your save. And it was like, sorry, what? That game's lost. Cool. I'm never playing that again.
Yeah. You complain that Fallout 4 is just Fallout 3, but if you swap the word gun with the word bow, they're all Skyrim. Although, actually, no, I'm going to go further. They're all Oblivion.
Oh, if only. Oblivion.
Have you tried to play that again?
No.
I mean, all right, it's got Patrick Stewart in it, but other than that, it's aged terribly.
Yeah, he dies very early, innit?
I know. It was so worth just hearing him.
Sean Bean impression and dies in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. But no, they've all been exactly the same basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
What changes is the effects in question and some of the functions and features or scale. And that's all I really want from a lot of games now. I don't really expect new from them because when people do new, they go horribly wrong. And the few that go horribly right aren't really done well. So, I mean, the Shadow of War game, I finished that. It was enjoyable. I still really love the Nemesis engine. I think the Nemesis engine has wonderful potential and it's just never been used since the first game got it so right.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. And the procedural generation of No Man's Sky to create that level of infinity just never been used since.
Nope.
I mean, imagine just chucking a small portion of that algorithm into any game so that every character is completely randomized and therefore unique. Congratulations, you've just made a world. There's no more need to animate individual pillars. Why? Because they're completely procedural. No one person looks the same. And now you have a thing that's really immersive because you're not seeing the same person walking down the street every 5 seconds with his dog. Oh, and the dog's doing the same animation again. Oh, now the person's walking through a wall. Yeah, all of the best, most ingenuitive things created for games in the last 5 years have just never been reused. They're only ever sort of owned by their own franchise, and the franchise tends to overdo and kill it. I mean, I'm very grateful No Man's Sky made such a fuck up and then worked their asses off to fix it. Because they really earned themselves their title at the end of it as a really good game for the whole, you can now play with people, you can now base build, you can now go underwater, you can now do all of this. Oh, how much? Free. Yeah. We're really sorry for the fuck up. This is how we're making it up to you. What a group. Brilliant people. Love them.
One of the mechanics that I always found a fascinating mechanic that I was surprised never got more usage was the building destruction from Red Faction Guerrilla.
The only one I know, the only game I know which had completely destructible environments since then was the war game, wasn't it? Something 1. Was it Battlefield 1?
Battlefield, yeah. Battlefield had destructive environments.
Yeah, nothing. You're right though. Nothing else has ever really
No,
used it, and Red Faction did it so early on at a point where the system shouldn't really have been able to handle that level
yeah.
of box animation. At
It's the
least I
fact
think.
that you could take a sledgehammer and knock down a skyscraper, or the equivalent of a skyscraper with a sledgehammer. And
Yeah.
it's like, this is cool. This is awesome. I will still put that game on now. I've got the remastered edition
Ooh,
of that game.
ooh, dirty word
Um,
that these days.
it doesn't look fantastic, um,
This
but
is
I
kind of
will
my
still
thing.
play that game now.
Yeah, I don't think I ever actually played it, but I know it. I just never got. Yeah, I think I came to it too late. But yeah, I know its destructible environment thing was brilliant, groundbreaking,
Really good.
and then
It's,
yeah,
um, it's multiplayer as well. By that I mean it's got you sit in a room with your mates, and it's the old school where you take your turn and
on
then you
to
pass the controller to someone else, and they have their go. And it is literally who can do the most damage with a load of different weapons, and you can have like backpacks and things in a minute, and it's scored, and whoever gets the highest score wins. I've,
oh,
I've I've lost entire days of playing that with people. Just like, oh, should we have a quick go on this? Yeah, 6 hours have passed. It wasn't that quick ago, was it?
on the topic of remasters, I'm very excited for one thing coming out.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
It is yes,
Yeah, I actually can't wait.
because
I'm just like
it's not just Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. It's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
They better have kept the same soundtrack. Oh,
Apparently, the soundtrack is the same.
it
What
better.
I think's kind of cool is that they have added in skaters that were in the original two games, but they've put them in what they look like now.
Ah,
There's an option to play as Tony Hawk's as he looks now. I think there's like
Zimmer
six
framing
original
all.
skaters. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, apparently the soundtrack is the same,
It,
allegedly.
as I say, for anything about it, I just want the prettier looks. A good skating game again would be nice, just because that used to be great fun just to have a play about.
Yep.
I want them to have incorporated into it all of the old cheats and things that used to exist for the number. I think it was 2,
Mm.
because for number 2 you could unlock Spider-Man as a character to play
Yep.
as, and it had some really freaky fucking environments to play in. Again, if you could be asked to cheat to unlock them, it had loads of shit hidden in the background, and I want all of that. I want the whole shebang, and
My
I want
objective,
it looking
my
glorious.
objective this time is to complete the aircraft hangar, all objectives in one run. I never managed it originally. I spent days trying and never
Yeah,
managed it originally.
2 minutes
This
and 30
time,
seconds is not a long time to collect the word, get all the cash, get over that thing, do it, and you've got to figure out the flow. I'm sure.
yep, you got
I
to have
used to love
it all
that.
mapped out in your head. Know which
Divine
move to do.
Performance. It was a great game. They were both really good
Yeah,
games. Oh, I'm well excited for that. It's not
me
one of.
too.
I keep giving into games on Epic Store, and I keep saying I'm not going to buy things off Epic. No, I won't buy from Epic. I don't like having multiple platforms, and I keep giving into shit. I still haven't given in to Maneater, but I'm ever the more tempted. I'm constantly going, I could just get that. I could just.
How much is it on the store now though?
It was 35 when it came out.
Yeah, so
Uh,
it must have gone down in price by now.
since when did games drop in price? What fucking fantasy world do you live in? Do you know how much Mario fucking Kart costs? 50 quid.
Yeah,
What
but
about Zelda Breath of the
that's
Wild?
Nintendo. Nintendo games go up in value.
Let's get the Epic Store up and have a look. Hang on 1 second. I don't know if my camera's still running while I do this.
It is.
Stranger Things the game. Let's get excited. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. Borderlands 3. It's got to be here somewhere. Where do I get to? Oh, Death Stranded's finally listed as coming soon.
All right.
Where the hell do I find the wish list on this? I'm sure I have one. Do I go into my library maybe? Nope. Store. How do I find the wish list? Browse. Oh, fuck it. I'm just going to search. Man Eater. There it is. 35 quid.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's been surprisingly popular.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's one of the more enjoyable games I've played recently, and I played it and finished it. So
I know it's coming out on Steam at some point is the problem. I've looked on Steam, it's listed on Steam. It's to be announced as to when it comes out, but it is there, which means if I just hold on, it might turn up on Steam in good enough time that it still looks nice, and I will want to play it. God, I hope it does. I mean, I caved to Control, and I thoroughly enjoy. I hit a point actually. I've not finished Control yet. I hit a point. I can't kill the fucking thing.
I never finished Control.
Oh really?
I bought it, played it all the way to the very end, couldn't finish it, traded it in because I did my equivalent of rage quitting is rage trading. I'm like, screw you, game. I'm going to trade you in. That'll teach you. And then,
I mean, that's a bit extreme.
About 3 weeks later, ended up buying it again, new, not even second hand. Got it. I was like, right, I'm gonna beat this game this time. Did a load of side missions, managed to level up a couple of times, went back, still couldn't do it. I've still never finished Control.
I enjoy it thoroughly. When I play it, it's very fun. I love the whole pulling things. It's very easy but quite intuitive. Control the world around you, point at shit and drag it over. There's no having to control depth for it. It just keeps simple. You want telekinesis, it's brilliant. You're holding it in the air. You want to throw it, let go. There you go. It didn't overcomplicate anything. It was quite simple in its style, but the ray tracing and the look of it was just beautiful. Oh, that's better. So I'm just going to open Windows. I'm cooking it in. Ugh. I'm blaming all the smoking. It's definitely not the computer that's running at full throttle. Little space heater. So yeah, I'll motivate to something again at some stage. I am just having that trouble finding things to really, really invest in. And there's very, very little coming out now because obviously everything's waiting for the Xbox and the PlayStation to happen. So
yeah.
And it pains me to say it, I might have to give in to a PS5. I won't give in to an Xbox.
No.
I just don't see the point between because Xbox, everything that Xbox do exclusively is also comes out on PC.
Yeah, you'll get it on the PC. It's almost it's pointless.
Yeah, it goes in the title, Microsoft.
Yeah.
But I part of me is very tempted by the PlayStation 5. I'm also very tempted to try Stadia because you can do it for free for a month.
All right.
Yeah, so you know how Netflix and that would let you put in your details and have a month on them, but at the beginning of the next month, if you haven't cancelled, you are paying.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing that. So if you've got a Bluetooth controller, so your Xbox controller, depending on recency, should have Bluetooth, and you can connect that to a tablet or phone. And then in theory, you could play Stadia on your tablet or phone. I'd be curious to see how well Google has done it. Because part of me is very tempted by these streaming things and supporting them because I genuinely think it's the way forward. I'm just not convinced.
The way forward, they just need to make a series of improvements. I just don't think we're quite there yet. I don't think everyone has the internet required to run something like that, and that's the problem.
This is what the Stadia supposedly did, is they've managed to get it stabilized enough that you can run it on a 20 meg connection. Now everybody, or most people in the world, do have that much bandwidth. But as this is all happening, bigger, better things like TalkTalk's UFO in York, I mean, that's ridiculous speeds. I really like it.
Me too.
But I don't know. It's only going to be as good as the service that it's running to. So if Google isn't up to scratch, 900 megabytes a second or not, it's still not going to work. And that's kind of where I want to give it a go. I want to see how well Google had done it. Because the one I tried out the shadow streaming, when it first arrived in the UK.
Yes.
I keep looking back at that because I prefer that idea. I prefer the idea of having a console, just having a computer that I can put what I like on and take it off, and old games, new games, and not be bound by a library that will change or might change, or I'm halfway through that game and they've removed it. Fuck. And that's my concern with the Stadia and PlayStations nows and things like that. If they pull games and you're not finished playing or haven't had a chance to play them, well, what do you do? You know, I'd rather actually just pay the subscription for the computer and the right to put anything I like on any device I'm running. That works for me. And I can't get back onto them now. I've got to wait till next year, as say their next beta opens complete to the public. But they've now tiered it, so they've got a base level, they've got a higher tier, but they've also got options to expand your memory. So where it currently gives you the machine with, I think, 256 gigabytes of hard drive to install shit on, they've got options to up that by gigs and things now, so you can pay a little extra and get gigabytes of extra memory. I think it's all fantastic. If they've managed to develop it enough that the upload and the download are good, that you can use webcams and things, well, actually, that's a great system for things like what you're doing here. You've got a very powerful machine that you can have on your phone. You can do podcasts wherever the hell you are.
Yeah.
As long as they can receive the information as quickly as it's coming through, and there's no lag.
Yeah.
As I say, when I tried it, it was pretty good. Crash Bandicoot was a bit difficult at points because, I mean, that was a very delicate, sensitive, time-jumping game. But mostly the lag was pretty low. So I kind of have high hopes that when Amazon do this and Google have done it, that theirs are really good. I'm just going to be cheeky. Kaylee? Oh, good. What are you doing? Give me a phone call. Sorry. I'm just setting my wife on a task.
Well, it's been lovely to speak to you.
Yes.
I feel like it's one of those, isn't it? Like, I know because we spoke earlier today, we had like legitimate work things to actually discuss. Which,
it's not all we've got these days.
Which is almost offensive to me in some ways.
I don't do anything. You know, I'm a very dull person. I should really work on that.
I've become so regimented and so routine. It makes me. Well, sometimes I'm like, yeah, you know, at least I know what I'm doing when, and other times I'm like, oh man, I need to get out of this funk rut.
Just gonna plop that out of thin air. There you go. Magic. Tango. Give me free stuff. Sorry.
So yeah, there's very much you know, I know what I'm doing when sort of thing, because it's just if it's a work day, I get up, I do work, I finish work, and then, you know, on to the next thing. But yeah, as far as doing stuff's concerned, it's like, yeah. I'm going to leave the house tomorrow.
I'm going to give you a quick one before the end of. You're leaving the house.
I'm going to leave the house tomorrow.
Don't do it. It's scary out there, man.
And believe it or not,
face masks everywhere.
I actually left the house today.
Oh, how was that for you?
Oh, it was super painful because I was like, right, car needs a service, car needs an MOT. But it turned out you get an additional 6 months on your MOT at the moment. So
they've offset you 6 months to give you leeway for the fact everything's fucking.
So I was like, oh, cool, I only have to sort the service out. So because I was working today and Lan wasn't, she took the car, took it. They were like, oh, we should probably still do the MOT. She was like, well, just leave it a couple of months, we'll sort it out. So they did the service. So I had to go and collect the car with Leanne. So we went, and they were like, hi, your car's basically held together with rubber bands. And to make it so it's not held together with rubber bands, you need to give us a lot of money.
I thought your car was relatively new.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's a bit... What the hell was wrong with it?
It's that new that it's had one MOT in its life. And
So what the hell is wrong with it?
everything is wrong with it. Name a car part.
The wheel.
Yeah, the wheels have got 3 problems. Name another one.
Alternator. I know words.
Do you know something?
That's the one thing that was okay.
That was okay. The thing that it connects to, though, no. I need a new car battery. So I was like, the fuck? They were like, yeah, you've basically got 1% left on your battery. I was like,
Tough question.
oh.
Do
They
you
were
not
like,
get warranty when you buy a car?
yeah, that
And
runs
how long-
out after a couple of years. So they were like, oh, basically your battery at this point in time, it might start the car the next time you try and start it. It might not. By the way, a new car battery, £212.
How
Honestly,
old is your car?
huh?
How old is it?
It's about just about 4 years old.
I'm pretty sure the amount of problems you're having with that should not be happening at that age.
It's had one MOT in its life because
Unless you are ragging the shit out of it and just connecting stuff to the battery for fun, like your nipples.
honestly, it was like there wasn't a part on the car that they couldn't say there was something wrong with it. They were telling us that there was something wrong with the frame. That's going to cost 90 quid to fix.
I'll be honest, the moment the frame's got a problem, surely it's a write-off job because it's a danger.
Oh, yeah.
Can you take this list of problems to the fucking dealer that sold you it with the statement, the fuck?
Honestly,
I understand things need to be fixed from time to time, but this list...
when I bought the car, I said to my mate who was helping me sort it out, I was like, I mean, this car's just too good to be true.
Oh,
You know what they say about something that's too good to be true?
usually
It is too good to be true. It's because there's something wrong with it, and you don't know.
Apparently it's the frame.
And
Sure, the Coronation Street were focused on that. Someone got hit by a car and it turned out to be 2 cars that had been joined together. So she died of a blood clot in her leg. It's Terry, wasn't it? Was it? Oh, bollocks, you didn't watch Corrie back then. I remember.
Leaving the house is a trap, and it's painful and expensive. So I've decided I'm going to give it up as a bad job, apart from tomorrow when I'm going to leave the house. So,
Scary world out there, but it's fine.
it's not fine. There's people dying. There's people wearing masks. There's people getting killed.
This was all happening before. It's just there was more people outside while it was happening.
Outside the door or the window. I've got the window open right now. I could get murdered any second.
Got both of mine open. I'm at just as big a risk.
Dicey.
It's all right. There's a crazed ginger's walked into the room. I'm feeling worried for my life now.
Oh, I had that a few moments ago.
I was keeping quiet so that you could carry on your conversation.
Whoa.
Oh no, she started talking.
The disembodied voice.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
As I'm very much aware that you enjoy your beauty sleep. Look at that.
Apple Tango.
Apple Tango.
Where can you buy it?
Shops?
I can't find it anywhere other than fish and chip shops. So my sister collared a mate at a sandwich shop who gave her a tray, which she buys from a cash and carry. But I can't find this shit for fucking love of me. It's like the unicorn shit. It's hard to find.
Time to get a cash and carry card.
Oh, if only I had a business.
We used to go to Cash and Carry when we had the hotel.
The place where dreams are made of, that. Just for the tubs of sweets.
Tubs of sweets. Yeah, that's the only reason you need to go.
Yeah. Right. I will release you back into the wild. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will stop recording you, and this might maybe even make its way to the internet at some point. We shall see. Ooh.
Thank you very much for joining me. And,
Never a problem. I'm pleased to test out the new machine. Hopefully it does work out quite well. Gets it all recorded neatly.
It seems to be doing its job at the moment.
The big limitation you're going to have with it is memory.
Yeah.
But I sustain a decent solid state drive. I don't know if you got a dock for your work machine. When you brought that home, if you brought a dock back with you, but obviously
my work machine.
Pity. I got one mine, but that dock would work with that machine through the USB, which would give you more access to plug things in like high-speed USBs, recording equipment, all the fun shit you need.
Cool.
So yeah, that might just be the small purchase on top of that. A solid state drive and a USB hub.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm going to stop that there. So thank you very much, and I'll like I say, I'll stop that there. So there you go. What do you think of that little special one just for you? Cool. YouTube watchers, do subscribe, do click for notifications, all of the juicy stuff that you've got over there. And everybody jump over to cookiecast.com, check us out, send us some love. Social media is good. Loving the post is good. Email love, any sort of love. We love love. So send it to us. That's it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then. Bye.